Smart City International Forum has been held for 3 days starting from April 27th to today. This is the last day of this forum and we have many audiences connected online. Thank you very much for your participation. And now let us start the last session, session G. The key words for G session is global cooperation and global development. So the main topic is global strategy for Sejong Smart City. And we will have a panel discussion after presentation. Let me invite the first speaker, Lee Kyung-eun, Secretary General of WeGo. He is going to make presentation on the global cooperation proposal of WeGo for Sejong Smart City model. Please enjoy his video clip. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Thank you for inviting. My organization, WeGo, is building smart cities. Our vision is smart cities for all humanity. Currently, about 20,000 cities around the globe are pursuing to be smart. Today, I will speak about how we want to approach smart cities and propose a global cooperation for Sejong City, which might apply to other smart aspiring cities as well. Everyone has a different idea about a smart city. My definition of a smart city is a happy city for smart people, Homo sapiens. I call it the Homo sapiens city. A real smart city should do at least 3 things at the same time. First, it should become intelligent enough to solve city problems in safety, mobility, ecology, etc. Smart people cannot be happy in dumb cities. The current COVID-19 pandemic testifies that smart technology and digitalization of government is the key to fast and efficient solution to problems. So increasing number of cities are pursuing to be smart in this extraordinary period. Second, it should make people feel happy. Happiness is what a smart city is all about. Therefore, a smart city should be not only livable, but lovable. Smart people cannot be happy in ugly cities. And third, smart cities should let people decide what they mean by happiness. People should be at the center, and we are the owner of the city. This is a beautiful trinity of intelligence, happiness, and citizen centricity. A smart city is a necessary and inevitable preparation for the future. It's a way to live better, and it's a way to relish our life after pandemic situation and even under it. There have been impressive developments, but even the most advanced smart cities today still have a long way to go. Then what is needed? Here are 4 most important things. First, technology matters. Stone Age did not end for lack of stones. It was technology that finished it. According to a recent study, even the current smart city applications deliver significant results. Up to 300 lives can be saved each year. 30 to 40% of crimes are reduced, and you can live 8 to 15% longer and healthier, etc. But new technology keeps coming up, broadening the horizon of our happy living. Second, PPPs matter. PPP has a long history. It basically says that our economy cannot prosper without PPPs. Government provides business environment, and private sector puts in expertise and investments. Private sector builds digital platforms, and it makes money when the platforms are successful. Third, we have to change our mind. It's crucial to build good smart cities. City officials should change their mind. They are not the owner of the city. They have to admit that they don't know very much. cities should awaken to the importance of technology and invest in it for the future. And citizens should change their mind too. They are not passive bystanders or order takers. They are the real owners of the city, and they are asked to actively create their ideal smart cities. Cities make citizens happier, and citizens make cities smarter. Fourth, international collaboration and networking matter. Smart city projects are not one-off, but evolutionary. One project begets another, and we need to do continuous jobs to maintain and improve our cities. It means that we need many friends and partners. We need to learn from each other. Even advanced cities have a lot to learn from developing cities. Before I turn to the main topic of the global cooperation proposal for Sejong City, please allow me to take this opportunity to briefly introduce my organization. WeGo is an association of like-minded cities and companies for smart cities. We are one and only independent international smart city organization, and we are 11 years old and has now over 210 members, including, of course, Sejong City and 35 private companies as well. Our activities are twofold. First, we are a platform where members share information and best practices. We organize international conferences, training programs, and workshops. We provide cities with networking opportunities, and we provide companies with business opportunities. Second, we help cities to implement smart city projects. We provide technical solutions to our members. For example, we share a special application called Smart City Driver to guide our members to design their own ideal smart cities. We also conduct feasibility studies and offer our products like smart city guidelines and catalogs. Now let's focus on Sejong City. Sejong joined WeGo 5 years ago, and Sejong has been recognized for its smart city development and has won WeGo awards for 2 consecutive times in 2017 and 2020. Last February, we also had the opportunity to showcase Sejong's smart city initiatives to all our members and partners at our annual briefing session. We are very proud to have Sejong as our member, and we'd like to congratulate Sejong for hosting this first International Smart City Forum. Sejong's smart city model, especially that of the 5-1 district, is a human-centered happy city for the future. It's a full-scale greenfield with cutting-edge big data and AIs. The key word here is post-materialism. It means a city with warm heart. We need to remind ourselves that a smart city is not a cold-blooded, machine-operated city like those in futuristic sci-fi movies. As I said earlier, a smart city is a happy city for Homo sapiens, and Sejong's plan is to build a genuine Homo sapiens city. Now let me propose 4 specific ideas for the sake of Sejong City's global cooperation. Why international collaboration? Because we need many friends and partners. Because we need to do continuous jobs to maintain and improve our cities. And because we need to learn from others and hear others' ideas and opinions. First, continue to be actively participating in international events. There are maybe too many events internationally, Which ones to choose? My answer is follow WeGo. We are organizing around 25 global meetings every year. The number has not decreased, but increased in COVID-19 situation. New online activities were created like Smart Health Responder and the Smart City Driver. You can showcase your smart city model and make friends and partners. Second, try to replicate your model in other parts of the world. You can export your ideas and policies overseas by providing capacity building programs and feasibility studies. The recipient cities will benefit from your knowledge and experience, and your project implementers will benefit from the business opportunities elsewhere. Needless to say, WeGo can arrange things if you are willing to assist others. And third, pay careful attention to WeGo's work on creating regional smart city networks. ASCN, ASEAN Smart City Network, is the first concrete international case of smart city cooperation. It was formulated 3 years ago, and WeGo established a partnership with it. And the first WeGo ASEAN Mayoral Conference was held in Seoul in November 2019. We'll organize the second one this year. We are trying to replicate ASEAN in other parts of the globe. NEASCN, Northeast Asia Smart City Network, is one. It aims the cooperation among cities in the region, including North Korea. WeGo successfully hosted the pre-workshop of NEASCN last December. The full-scale launch is expected to take place before the end of this year. We are working on smart city networks in Latin America and Africa as well. Preliminary meetings will be in coming months. CJK Network is a special one. It's a China, Japan, Korea trilateral smart city cooperation. Last year in August, we had a meaningful conference with the help of Trilateral Cooperation Secretariat. The long-term goal of the collaboration is to identify and implement joint smart city projects among the 3 biggest economies in Asia. And lastly, think about hosting a General Assembly of WeGo in Sejong City. It's a triennial event and the biggest gathering of WeGo. A lot bigger than this forum today. The 5th GA is due this year. The timing is yet to be decided, but we assume it's going to be late October or early November this year. And we hope we can do it online, but in case things don't permit, we'll go online, of course, where we are now calling for bidding. We welcome Sejong to seize the opportunity. In case you find it difficult this year, I recommend you keep it on your priority agenda for the future. Having said that, I think that the 4 proposals for Sejong's global cooperation can be summarized in 3 words: work with WeGo. Well, I may sound bragging, but I like to proudly say that we can take good care of our members. The members' demands for international partnership. Now I conclude by congratulating again on your successful first International Smart City Forum. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Secretary General Lee Kyung-yeol from WeGo. So not just smart city, also the future aspiring smart cities are working together for the future smart city. So now we're going to turn to another presentation with the topic of strategy and cooperation in Korea Smart City. The Director of Smart City Lab, Jo Young-tae, is going to present it. Good afternoon. My name is Jo Young-tae from the Korea Land and Housing Corporation Smart City Lab. So today I'm going to talk about strategy and cooperation in Korea Smart City. I put Korea in front of a smart city. So this is the project, smart city projects and businesses that Korea Land and Housing Corporation is working on. As Secretary General of the WeGo defined what is a smart city. Out of three elements, he emphasized the happiness of the citizens and the definition. Here in this city, Sejong City is also called as the happiness city, happy city. So I believe that Sejong City is a primary example of the smart city defined by WeGo. So as it is, that many people are working and living in the urban population. So 2% of the entire land occupied by the city, but 50% of populations are living in the cities. Since the urban population is on the steady increase, which also created more difficulties and problems. So in order to solve any urban problems and also enhance the urban infrastructure, as a solution, smart city is emerging. There's a Habitat 3, the event held by the UN. So in terms of the agenda in the level of UN, smart city has been presented as a future of cities. As it is, the smart city has been utilized as a solution for the urban problems, and also the ICT is the important methodology to solve the urban problems. So with the smart cities and smart technology, we can also create the future cities. So in Korea, in 2003, the smart city was first used. At that time, we used different terminology, that is U-city, ubiquitous city. So the foundation for this is the high-speed network, which started in 1990s. So 2003, the U-city urban development started. Since then, every urban development as well as urban regeneration have been using the smart city as a combining technology for a better solution. So as Secretary General pointed out, worldwide, there is a common definition of smart city. It's the data-driven smart city. So using the data of the information in city and urban data, we are efficiently using the urban resources. That's a smart city as a common definition. We call this is a data-driven smart city in summary. So not only in Korea, but also European countries, as well as other Western countries, across all the world, all the countries in the world, the cities are pursuing the smart city. It's a kind of smart cities sweeping across the world. Under the COVID pandemic, smart city in Korea has been emerging as a example. So K-quarantine and K-smart city. So we are able to efficiently tracking down the confirmed cases and also their contact. So our R&D was coming up with a solution to track down those confirmed cases in order to prevent the COVID-19 from spreading further. Based on their mobility information, we were able to track them, and also population movement, as well as the CCTV. Those information were combined together, so we are able to track down the movement of the confirmed cases, and we were able to track their past location. So with the epidemiology, the research and investigation supporting system, we are able to track down these confirmed cases and prevent the COVID-19 from spreading further. This is one aspect of the COVID-19 quarantine and prevention system, and also it is a kind of excellence of the Korea's the COVID-19 situation. The example. So many the private companies and also public institutions are participating in Smart City project. The central government set up the Smart City Act, and also there is a national level Smart City Committee, and also national level Smart City Comprehensive Plan has been adopted and has been underway. Accordingly, local governments came up with a smart city related ordinance and also created a consultation body, and also they have their own basic plan or roadmap for smart city. Many universities are also studying the smart city, participating in the project. What has been overlooked or missing out is that the private companies and citizens' participation. So smart city is the city where citizens are happy. So with that, we need to also encourage the citizens' participation. With the participation, we can complete the ideal smart city. So in Sejong City, we really want to achieve the ideal smart city, and also the smart city aspects can be seen in other cities where people enjoy happiness. That's the right direction for us to go. In Korea, we have a very the organized Smart City Act. It's the Seminate is the only one in the world. So in the past, it was called as a Ubiquitous Act. Under this act, ICT and the construction technologies are combined, so define the smart city technology and systems under this law, and also smart facilities and communication network, as well as operative facilities are there under this law. So we call this a smart foundation technology and facilities. The most basic one is the CCTV, and 1.2 million the local governments set up the CCTV across the nation. So 1 out of 40 population, we have a CCTV per population. So that much we are enhancing the safety of the people using this kind of technology. So our local governments are well equipped to provide a good smart services based on this kind of system. And also all cities can collect the data, and then using those data, we can provide a convergence services. So in the smart cities, the administrative and traffic and transport and also housing, all these are the ones that we can get the smart services under the convergence of technology. And we have the Smart City National Promotion Strategy. It was declared in 2018. Accordingly, the third stage Smart City Comprehensive Plan was established. And the Smart City Promotion Strategy and the Smart City Comprehensive Plan commonly deal with the innovative platform to change the life of citizens. To this end, national level pilot city and also the R&D based foundation for a smart city, and also the ecosystem creation and also global network creation, like today's forum, 4 strategies have been promoted under this comprehensive plan. So under this national comprehensive plan, we have the national pilot city establishment, which include Busan and Sejong City. So we designate one national pilot city in each city, and so Sejong 5-1 Living Zone was designated as a national pilot city. So the 5-1 Living Zone are demonstrating 7 sectors, including energy and transport, innovative solution, also transforming the technology demonstration will be carried out in this 5-1 Living Zone. And also there is a smart first town. This is the project where Sejong 5-1 Living Zone will be the test bed for solution. So we can test those solution and verify it and also demonstrated services will be carried out in this living lab. And also there is a smart challenge that is being done with the local governments. It's a competition such as the city challenge or town challenge and campus challenge by type. So 3 challenges are underway, and also this simultaneously smart city spreading project is underway. So the local governments and academic fields, including universities, are working together to study and spread the smart city through the smart challenge. And urban regeneration New Deal project also apply the smart city. So urban regeneration New Deal project include smart city specialized zone designation under the 5 different projects. As of now, 18 smart city type urban regeneration New Deal are underway. So smart city R&D projects has been steadily underway. So when I say the national R&D, it spans 3 to 5 years, very mid and long-term project. So since 2007, under the name of UCT, we also carried out the R&D. The current R&D is the 3rd round R&D, starting from 2018, spanning to 2020. And Xing and Daegu are selected for the demonstration of R&D. And so far, the laws and also institutions and solutions have been demonstrated in Daegu and Siheung and verifying whether they can have they are effective or not. That will be continued by 2022. So the representative solution through the R&D is that the integrated platform and 5 connected services. So integrated platform is the one to collect and store all the information and data coming from smart systems and the city. Through this, 911 and 112 related institution services. So these services connected and then provided a new services. So it was achieved thanks to the data integration and sharing. And also we have another representative solution that is a crime prevention to secure safety in the city. So future events can be predicted in advance to prevent crimes and accidents. This is a very important solution for prevention, which is called the Urban Safety 2.0. My institute, my research lab, is working on this. And there is another story. So one more the representative solution for smart city is that the auto cleaning and smart recycling. So the common issues of cities are the residential garbage, waste. So we set up the auto cleaning all places in the Sejong City. So through the pipeline, you can collect the garbage, and this is installed in Sejong and Pangyo. So you can collect this waste through this the pipelines network. And also we have a smart recycling the technology that allow the effective recycling of the waste. So like this, citizen, government, and research institutions, all these 3 the agents should set certain governance. We call this as a smart city governance that has been implemented through the Smart City Alliance with the more than 472 companies. And also we have a smart city consultation body where the more than 119 local governments are gathered together to work on the smart city. And as I told you before, the Sejong City is the first one to get the smart city certification. There are competitors, but out of these 5 competitors, Sejong City became the first one to get the certification. In 2021, about more cities are getting the ISO identification, including our Hwaseong City in Korea. And many urban population are concentrated increasingly, and by 2025, the city size like the Pangyo will increase up to 1,500. So many cities should refurbish their existing infrastructure or develop new ones. So in terms of urban development, Korea's smart city will be presented as a new model. So I think smart city international cooperation has been done, led by the government. So 1.5 trillion won, the size of the fund has been already formed, and also various the ODA projects are underway, and also we have been holding the various international forums and conferences like today, and also we are exporting the model of smart city to other cities, including Kuwait, India, Myanmar, Malaysia, Vietnam, and Bolivia, as well as Australia. So we are working with them and then also exporting our concept of smart cities. This is Abdullah Smart City in Kuwait. It's 3 times larger than Bundang. It's a new city. And the future of smart city, what will be like? So like data-driven smart city, it is advancing. It is making a great advancement of the technology like AI and also big data. Those are the cutting-edge technology will be embodied through this smart city. And also, the future of smart city will be the human-centered smart city. I believe the future aspect of Sejong City is also the human-centered and data-driven city. So this is a concept. This is a standard not just for Korea, but also the countries around the world, cities around the world. And let me talk about what LH is doing. The LH is the one which built the smart city across the nation. With LH, would like to see more international cooperation in smart city building. Likewise, the central government, local governments, and also public company like LH are working together to achieve a successful smart city. Please come along with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So K Korea type the smart city. To build a Korean type smart city, he suggests the possible global cooperation. And I'd like to invite the next speaker, Mr. Levante Grugan, President of the Urban Technology Alliance. He's going to make a presentation on global cooperation for testing and validating smart city deployments. Please enjoy his presentation. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Levent Gürgen. I'm the president of the Urban Technology Alliance, a global alliance for testing and validating innovative smart city solutions. I'm very happy to be here today in this very exciting event. I would like to thank again to the organizers of the event, in particular the SEJONG City, our partner, for giving me the opportunity to present the Urban Technology Alliance activities to you. I hope to be able to convince you about the importance and relevance of our activities so that you can join us and collaborate together to make the smart city paradigm a reality. So, who is the Urban Technology Alliance? What does it do and what are its main reasons of existence? I will give you a bit more details in the coming minutes, but if I can summarize the UTA in one sentence, this would be the following. So, UTA is a global network of cities, industry and academy teaming up to organize city-scale pilots to validate technical, economic and social angles of innovative solutions for smarter cities. We are a global network of cities, innovative industry and academy, fruit of years of collaboration in the past, eventually incorporated as a non-profit association established in Geneva, Switzerland on December 2019. Yes, we have been incorporated just at the beginning of this unfortunate global pandemic, which certainly slowed down a bit our activities, but we are now back with full force with our leading cities around the world, such as Grenoble, Taipei, our 4 Korean cities, Sejong, Busan, Ucheon, and Seong cities, our Japanese members, such as Fujisawa, Saitama, Tsukuba cities, and other cities around the world, in addition to our prestigious industrial and academic partners. We are accompanying cities in their journey of smartness and sustainability. So, what does Urban Technology Alliance do? Urban Technology Alliance is a worldwide testing environment for smart city solutions. Those solutions cannot be validated in the lab environments. They should be given to cities and to citizens, who are the only ones that can validate and approve those solutions. UTA thus provides city-scale testbeds for this validation, not only from the technical perspective, but also from the social and economic perspectives. Secondly, UTA provides a matchmaking platform to bring together those stakeholders with complementary skills and boost collaboration for common objectives. We help cities with neutral guidance only for the good of the city and its citizens. Smart city industry needs this city-scale testing environment for validation of their innovative solutions by end users. And similarly, researchers need this platform to understand the real needs of cities and citizens, so to focus their research on those specific needs. And last but not least, UTA provides a global perspective. Yes, indeed, we know that each city is unique. However, they share many similar challenges, technical, environmental, economic, or societal. UTA share with its members the lessons learned, experiences, and know-how of their cities around the globe. So, how is the UTA organized to achieve those objectives? So, the activities of the Urban Technology Alliance is organized in 5 main working groups. The core group is the testbed working group. Testbed working group collects the problems from the cities, solutions from the innovators, and build up teams to join forces and to tackle with those problems. The teams are composed of complementary expertises, data platforms, data analysis tools, network providers, etc. And if there are alternatives for a given city problem, cities choose the best solution for them with the guidance from the other working groups, and if necessary, with the neutral guidance from the academic partners. Around the testbed working group, there are 4 other groups that are assisting the testbed working group, namely the technical working group providing technical guidelines, reference architectures, relevant standards, integration plans, business working group providing networking opportunities to find funding for the deployments, regional, national, or international public funds or private funds. It also provides a B2B matchmaking for business opportunities and deployment replication possibilities for the members. The sustainability working group is here to define metrics, KPIs for evaluation of the deployments, KPIs for social acceptance, or KPIs for the environmental impact of the solutions, KPIs for life cycle assessment of the solutions, and all of those are the part of the activities of this working group. And finally, the social working group is here to raise the voice of the citizens and keep reminding to the technical partners that the solutions are eventually to best serve the citizens. Part of its networking activities, UTA regularly organizes events that bring together not only UTA members but also guest participants, which are expected to be future members actually, to share experiences and lessons learned within the community. Here you see a latest event we organized last December. Unfortunately, we had to do it for sure remotely, but still very fruitful, bringing together many important smart city actors worldwide. I invite you to explore the event in our website, and also you can revisit the sessions recordings at our YouTube page. You can catch up presentations from our participant cities like Taipei, Grenoble, Glasgow, Vancouver, Columbus, Pilsen, Santander, etc., in addition to our other industrial and academic partners. You can also revisit actually a virtual exhibition area we had put in place where you can discover some of the smart city activities of our members. Okay, here are some example testing environments from our members and also some example projects we have done so far. Sejong City, which is being the new center of Korea, demonstrates not only with this great event that they organize, but also their recent investments in the smart city topic, being, for instance, one of the national pilot cities in Korea. Mobility, healthcare, and energy are some of their main concerns nowadays. And I guess during this event you already have discovered about the potential of Sejong. But you can also check the recording of the presentation of Ms. Minju Chang, which had been done at our last December event. So Busan, as you all know, another Korean city which started since long time their smart city activities. Large consortium of partners, industrial partners, building the Busan Eco Delta city. What I really like in Busan is that they have defined those 6 concrete objectives and specified 28 KPIs, which show that they really know where they want to go and how to evaluate and measure the success in reaching those objectives in a quantifiable manner. You can also explore the presentation of Mr. Guan, the master planner of Busan Eco Delta City, done at our December event. In addition to Busan and Sejong, we also have 2 new Korean city members, actually, as mentioned, Bucheon and Seong cities recently joined, which also have great smart city activities. So again, in Asia, Taipei, one of the most populated city member of UTA, has this city as a living lab approach, which is an innovative model actually to validate smart city innovation. They have identified some priority topics, as you see here: public housing, smart transportation, smart healthcare, smart education, etc. And they are actually providing test environments in the city, very open to the international collaboration, to welcome innovators to test their solutions. You can also check the presentation done by Mr. Lee, who is the director of the Taipei Smart Cities Office, in our last December event. So another important supporters of UTA are our Japanese city members, such as Saitama City, a leading city in Japan in terms of carbon neutrality ambition. Actually, it is one of the few cities that have fixed this ambitious objective of being carbon neutral by 2050. And Saitama City is indeed hosting this global event next year, bringing together cities around the world to discuss about the environmental issues which concern of all of us. And you can discover the presentation from Mr. Mayor Hayato Shimizu, who honored us with his participation to our last December event. Fujisawa, another pioneer city in Japan that will host some part of the Olympic Games this summer, with the support of their partner Keio University and the NTT East. We have already done several pilot deployments with the city of Fujisawa on environmental monitoring, smart tourism, participatory sensing, giving the power to the citizens. You can also discover the presentation done by Mr. Tatsuo Fukuda at our December event. We are flying to Europe, Santander in Spain, probably one of the smartest cities in Europe, with huge IoT deployments, around 10,000 devices in the city. As a very close partner to UTA, we have already organized several pilots, from smart mobility to smart tourism or to environmental monitoring. And a close partner of the city, Telefonica, has presented the smart city activities of Santander in our last event in December. And last example, another European founding member, Grenoble, where I'm actually based in, which is located at the French Alps, a great innovation ecosystem probably second following the Paris region, the Grenoble area, which is also used to know as the Silicon Valley of Europe, provides great opportunities of smart city testing environment. Finally, I wanted to give this last example about the deployment we have done more than 2 years ago in Grenoble area with collaboration of our Korean partners. 2 years old but still relevant. It was about the smart skiing. With some of our European and Korean partners, we have set up a joint cross-border, cross-continent actually experimentation involving skiers and ski stations from France in Champs and Korea in Pyeongchang during the period of Winter Olympic Games in 2018 to test some of the innovation from our partners. We have deployed a large-scale LoRa network both in Shangruz and in Pyeongchang, built connected sensors and actuators, deployed for instance in the ski or snowboard shoes to measure the skiing activities of the users, and build interesting smart applications such as real-time remote-friendly competition between French and Korean amateur skiers on their skiing skills, to provide information about the crowdedness levels of the slopes to the facility managers, itinerary to slopes, finding family and friends, etc. Really took quite interest at regional, national and international levels and allowed us to keep the collaboration with our partners after the deployment even, and we are currently now working on a follow-up and replication deployments with some other ski resorts. And those are just examples. Many other city scale testbeds continuously joining to us, and we are currently working on new deployments ideas that we will be announcing soon. So hopefully you will be joining us and we will build even more interesting deployments altogether. And I would like to end my presentation with this final slide, with which I would like to emphasize again the importance of involving citizens in shaping the future smart city applications. We should bear in mind that a city is smart if and only if it responds to the emerging needs and concerns of their citizens. I really like this quote from William Shakespeare, which in my opinion summarizes quite well the essential nature of being citizen-centric for smarter cities. What is the city but the people? If I have asked this question to you maybe 1.5 years ago, the answer would probably not be so evident. But today, the answer is easier to give, probably for most of you. Just think about last year, these times, locked down in your apartment, looking by the window, seeing the city but the people. Thank you.
Thank you very much. For localization of the smart cities, everyone's involvement is important, as he mentioned. Then I'd like to invite the next speaker, Mr. Kim Han-sik, team leader of Smart City Standard team of KITS. He's going to make a presentation on the current state of standardization of smart city in and out of Korea. Hello, everyone. I am Kim Han-sik, in charge of Smart City Standard. Today, I'm going to make a presentation on the ways for cooperation and standardization of smart city. First, I'd like to touch upon the background of smart city. And the standardization is very important and one of the difficult challenges, actually, even to me. The main reason is because we have various technologies. However, we need to apply the concept of standardization with those various technologies. We cannot. So rather than the technical point of view, we need to take another approach for an easier standardization. So I'm going to make an explanation on the background of a smart city and standard and the directions for cooperation in terms of standardization of smart city. So reality of cities. Many people already mentioned about this current status of cities. Compared to the cities in the past, the major cities are experiencing a rapid globalization. Cities today occupy approximately only 2% of the total land. However, it accounts for 70% of the economy and over 60% of the global energy consumption, 70% of greenhouse gas emissions, and 70% of global waste. It accelerates problems of the cities, including the environmental issues. And now we are seeing more the fierce competition among the city to attract more professionals, professional companies, and professional individuals. Now, cities are competing each other in a fierce manner to resolve many issues. Now, cities are contemplating a possible good way, a possible good solution. So, beyond the conventional ways, they need to make investment in a more concentrated area. For instance, some examples to resolve the traffic congestion. They try to provide real-time traffic information and control the traffic signals, and then to resolve the lack of parking lots. Rather than building a new parking lot, they are going to provide the parking information in real time, and they are going to provide other solutions like car sharing. So CCTV, security, and smart apps are the options they are now considering. This is a new trial for them. This is reflecting kind of a change the trend of a smart city. By considering this, I think we should set the direction of the future smart city. So let me explain what is the smart city. Here in this slide, according to a survey conducted by ISO, they say that there are about 110 different definitions of a smart city. So depending on the main players of the smart city can be defined in a different way. So for instance, this is an example. What is a smart city? A smart city is one where there is effective integration of physical, digital, and human systems in the built environment to deliver a sustainable, prosperous, and inclusive future for its cities. Here, the word smart city does not mean that it is just not about technology. It is rather than that, it is about how well technology is used in an integrated manner. In this regard, engagement of those consumers and users will be critical. So I think maybe smart city is just rather than cutting edge technologies. Smart city is about utilizing various technologies as much as possible to solve the problems facing cities. And the general characteristics of a smart city. Let me explain this on this slide. We need to first figure out the features and the characteristics of smart cities. So, general characteristics of smart cities. First of all, first feature is a smart system of systems. I think some of you already figure out what it means. Let me explain with the illustration here. There should be an asset, and if we add a controller, it becomes smart. And if it connected with wireless devices, it can be the smart device. It can be connected devices, and then by connecting more devices, it can be a connected system. And together with the buildings and infrastructure or other utilities, there can be the system of systems. There can be a true system required. As you know, the vertical kind of integration of intelligent systems is needed, and the final goal should be the system of systems. For our future direction, we need horizontal and vertical the integrations. And the second feature is we have a range of stakeholders for services. Okay, there should be main stakeholders who will be consumers and the suppliers. However, when it comes to smart cities, local governments, investors, and citizens, these are the main stakeholders. And we should connect the services with other services in other regions, which means that we will have more and more stakeholders down the road. So we should reflect, consider the opinions and views of many stakeholders. The last feature is life cycle. As you can see on the chart over here, smart city. Okay, smart city is different from or some products or services. It will not, the smart city will not have kind of a terminating point in its life cycle. It will keep evolving like an ecosystem. So smart city itself should be sustainable. So standard in smart city, what would be the role of roles of standards in a smart city? First, standards should provide good guidelines and best practice cases for the development of smart cities. And second, standards should be able to increase the participation of the main stakeholders in developing infrastructure and services. And then standards should enable the development of the repeatable solutions. So based on what I have talked about so far, let me just now summarize the classification of smart city standards. Let me summarize the main features of smart cities first. First, as I said, system of systems. To enhance this, we need convergence. Standards, we will try to integrate and converge different systems. And by making standards, we will strike the balance among the different stakeholders to raise in transparency and collaboration. And by making standards, we are going to provide the necessary guidelines for the development of smart cities. In this slide, as I mentioned, we have some challenges to resolve. So I'm going to explain how we resolve some issues through the standardization of smart city. Strategy and process and technical specifications. This can be the main three steps. Strategy is about preparing guidance and it's about leadership. Process is about procurement and management. The technical side is about building and deployment. The common standards will include common architecture and element standards. We have common standards and element technology standards. So to strike the balance among the interests, strike the balance of interests among the stakeholders, we need to efficiently manage the life cycle of cities. So the relevant standards should be common standards. And as you know, to secure compatibility among different citizens, we need to standardize the element technologies. Let me explain more details. Regarding the common standards, it is in very early stage. By accelerating convergence among different technologies, now this process is being led by the ISO TC organization. Compared to this element technology standards, the conventional standardization bodies are now being involved for this, to make standards for element technologies. And these international standardization bodies are cooperating with the private sectors as well. In terms of ISO, As you can see on the slide, transportation, building, energy management, and water and environment management. In various fields, we can see the international standardization process. IEC is also contemplating about 1,800 international standards. They are now developing these standards for to ensure compatibility of different systems and technologies. Additionally, I think IEEE, this is an international organization. So IEE, 5G, or cybersecurity, they are now preparing standards for these latest communication technologies. Yeah, because they are, of course, the element technologies requiring standardization. So, standardization, if we apply this to smart cities, then what kind of the advantages we will have through standardization? From the industry and economic point of view, standard-based smart city can generate best practice cases, and based on the best practice cases, we can spread this smart city case to other regions. And by applying the standards, we can attract the participation of private sectors and it will induce competition among those stakeholders. And from a country perspective, if our standards can become a global standard, we will be able to export our systems and technologies to other regions, other countries. In this slide, I'd like to talk about how we can collaborate for standardization of smart cities. First, we need to take a step for standardization of software. Now we are seeing some convergence and paradigm shift among different industries. So from a systemic point of view, we need to make an integrated, unprecedented integrated approach to converge and make standards for software. So for CT, and you can see that there are 5 sectors over here. Starting from 2011, they are now generating standards for these sectors. So Korean Standards Institute, last April, we formed a required committee to accelerate this standardization process. This is a system standardization. So rather than top-down or the private company-centric approach, okay, this will enable the involvement of private sector, active involvement of private sectors. It will enable the efficient decision-making process, and it will be able to resolve some issues or will be able to meet the needs of consumers. And then this is the software side. We need to make an approach for the hardware side as well. We have different stakeholders, and we should collaborate with them. So we should make a structure for collaboration. We need to make a collaborative platform together with the local governments. Through a strong leadership of local governments, okay, the government should try to further, strengthen this kind of hardware platform and then generate a niche market. Consumers and residents through the platform can be involved in resolving the problems facing the residential area. So with this platform, I think everyone should make further efforts. So our agency is also working with other private firms by supporting them. This concludes my presentation. So for true collaboration for smart cities, every stakeholder should move beyond the conventional ways. They should tap new ways to pursue standardization for success of smart cities. On the last slide, in this picture on the slide, you may better understand what standards mean. As you can see, for a true smart city, every stakeholder should actively be involved to utilize each element like blocks in a more creative manner, and we should build our own smart city. Personally, Sejong is one of the representative smart cities in Korea. So beyond just the comparability test bed, Sejong City should try to develop standards for a global smart city. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Team Leader Kim Han-sik, for your wonderful presentation. So specialized and also period for every citizen in a smart city. The smart city standards was really well explained in his presentation. Last, we're going to listen to the presentation about the Sustainable Smart City International Standards presented by the Program Manager of BSI, Emilia Cardamon. So now we're going to watch the video clip she presented.
Hello everyone, I'm Emilia Cardamone and I'm the Program Manager for the Digital Construction Stream in BSI. And today I'm going to talk to you about BSI supporting smart city and sustainable cities and communities. Now, before we go into details, let me tell you more about who's BSI and what we do. Just to explain a little about our company, many of you will be familiar with BSI as the UK national standards body. But we have a strict governance to our business streams and are incorporated by a royal charter. Now, first of all, our product portfolio is extensive and we support clients globally through standards, shaping standards, whether these can be British or ISO standards, or international standards in general, or past public available specifications, and providing technical support and guidance from our knowledge solution business. Then we have our assurance side of the business, the one which I'm part of, and we are providing training and certification services to help clients embed and demonstrate best practices through adoption of standards. And ultimately, we also have a consultancy side of the business that are providing consulting in many ways. Before we go down into into my presentation, our purpose is inspiring trust for a more resilient world. We help to shape and guide innovation through improving and standardizing business processes, products, and services to enable advancements. So we work for the public goods to improve, standardize, and simply business system, products, and services. Our profit is fully reinvested back into BSI and never distributed, and we are independent from outside influence. Now, what we do is we're working constantly to serve industry. We're committed to finding new ways to deliver services. We're focused upon enabling organizations to become more resilient and survive, stabilize, rebuild, and be resilient. We have around 84,000 clients all over the world, and we have offices in 193 countries, and we support with a team of 12,000 auditors our customers all over the world. So as you can see, we're a big company and we have a big footprint all over the world. Now, what are we doing in terms of digital transformation, and especially digital transformation in the construction space and in the built environment space? We are shaping and supporting digital innovation in the built environment from strategy to sensor. So we can certify smart cities, smart communities, smart assets, smart systems, and smart products. So as you can see, our product portfolio offering is wide, and we can help you demonstrate compliance with the international standards from a city to the little object that you have in your house, and it includes IoT components in it. But now, just going down to the digital transformations in cities, how can BSI help? So BSI has been analyzing what are the challenges in the built environment. So recent studies of the UN has demonstrated that by 2050, 75% of global population will live in cities. So this highlights how cities need to address investments in order to create benefits for citizens and be smart. So what are the main challenges in cities? So cities are moving to innovation to a global scale. The cities are normally working in silos, so organization and systems like, healthcare, like transportation, like water management, all these things are like working in silos in a city. And this makes it hard to connect the dots across programs and release the value. The buyers are not sufficiently engaged. There are several trust and security concerns. And ultimately, the standard portfolio and the wide range of standard is quite complex, and it's hard to fill the gaps. So BSI has worked together with international organization in order to build and shape standards that help address three main questions. First question is, why smartness? Why a city or a community should be smart? And that highlights the strategy of a city or a community. Secondly, how smart initiatives can be executed among different sectors, and these can help build processes for cities and communities. And ultimately, what kind of solution shall I apply, and what kind of solution I do need for my city in order to be smart? And that goes down into the technical specification. Now, if you see that being kind of confusing and very big, actually this drills down all about one sentence. Collaboration at all levels is key. So if you are in a strategy place, like you are a government, you're a property or asset owner, or if you are in the process space, like government offices, main contractors, lead designers, and so on, or whether you are in the technical space, you are a manufacturer, you are a tech company, you are an architect, you are a consultant, and so on. The only thing you have to know and you have to be aware of is that collaboration is key at all levels. Otherwise, we're never going to get to a smart city. Now, just to give you an overview of the standards, here we've summarized some of the standards that you might want to have in your background and you might want to have in your pockets. So there are standards that are helping you shape your strategy, such as ISO 37101 or ISO 37106, and going down to British standards like PAS 181 or PD 8101. There are several standards out there if you're looking to shape your strategy, and you can see there that you can build your strategy upon like defining targets, strategic policy and innovation. So please have a note about this diagram here, because it's really helpful for you to build your strategy and everything you need in a city in order to be smart. Then you have some standards around processes, and actually British standards can help you build that quite heavily, like PAS 185 or PAS 184 and so on. And ultimately there are standards that are going down to technical specification, such as PAS 182 or PAS 212, and depending on whatever you want to look, to be fair, there are several international standards to look at, but also several British standards that are not set up just like British standards, but in general can help you throughout the process. And just to give you an example of an international approach, like the ISO approach, as I know you're in South Korea, one standard that I would highlight to you in order to build and shape more sustainable communities is ISO 37101. So ISO 37101 is the international standard that establishes the management system for sustainable development. And this is going to highlight you the requirements and the guidance for use. So this international standard establishes requirements for management system and sustainable development in communities. The intended outcomes of management system for sustainable development in communities include things such as managing sustainability, improve the contribution to sustainable development outcomes in the community, and assess the performance of community in progressing towards sustainable development outcomes and the level of smartness and resilience that they have achieved, and ultimately fulfilling the compliance obligation. Now, this standard can be used with other standards that are linked to smart cities, such as 37106, but also there's a guidance on how to implement 37101, which is 37104, and it helps organization to go through the clauses of 37101 and build a resilient structure for a city in order to build a management system that is compliant with 37101 and helps you embed sustainability in every city of the world. Now, the important thing to know about 37101 is that ISO 37101 helps cities and communities support the United Nations Sustainable Goals by taking in consideration the 6 purposes of sustainability, such as attractiveness, preservation and improvement of the environment, resilience, responsible resource use, social cohesion, well-being, and so on. But these 6 purposes of sustainability are actually supported by the 12 sustainability issues that each city or community needs to consider, and they need to consider those sustainability issues against the 6 purposes of sustainability. Now, you might want to ask yourself about governance, empowerment, engagement, education, healthcare, culture and community identification, safety and security, mobility, biodiversity, and so on. So strategies for achieving a sustainable framework are local, but need to reflect local context and challenge ISO 37101 does not set benchmark to expected levels of performance. So this is very important to know. But ultimately, you might want to build 37101 together with 37106, and 37106 is the guidance on establishing smart city operating models for sustainable communities. And 37106 is actually helping you build a smart cities and a smart management model of a city, and is looking at different angles that are helping you embed a management system that is actually smart, putting the clients and the citizens at the center of a smart city, because this is very crucial. Now, just to let you understand a little bit more about 37101, nowadays, normally cities are working in silos, so you have different things such as water management, transportation, and so on, working in different departments, but actually the aim of a smart city is to build a strategic management, a citizen-centric management, and a digital and physical asset management that helps connect the dots across these different silos. And how to do that, you basically help the public sector provide you the guidance and the data around what their needs are and what they do, and ultimately the city, by organizing these data and analyzing these data, they can build back services to the citizen and to the companies and charities and small medium business that are working in the cities. So as you can see, putting the citizen in the center of a smart city strategy is key from a standard point of view. Now, going in a little bit more into details about our certification. Our certification is mainly based on ISO 37106, but there's the chance to embed 37101 as well in the certification. So your city can be smart and sustainable as well. And we will assess mainly on 37106, but we look at relevant clauses of 37101, and we will assess your city against 5 levels of maturity that we have established by putting together a maturity model. And we are assessing our clients and our cities against all areas. But a low score in an area doesn't mean that a city is not compliant. It means that there's a lower understanding of that clause, or there's a lower focus on that. Now, putting the kite mark at the center, it's all about putting together a vision for your city, a strategy of your city, the implementation of your strategy, and ultimately that you make sure that you map, track, and realize the smart community benefits. When talking about the requirements we would look at when assessing for a smart city, first thing you have to recognize is what vision a city has, and then what kind of benefit realization strategy it has. But together with that, we have some smart enablers that we are looking at, such as stakeholder collaboration, integrated operating model, smart procurement, or shared use of common resources, managing data as a wide asset to drive innovation, and so on. So these are all key elements of 37106 and things we would look at. Some benefits of the kite mark, and of course, is like improved collaboration, increased innovation, increased citizens' engagement, global competitiveness, and so on. But this will actually help you with some value of getting certified, and ultimately that the real value is job creation, economic growth, improved productivity, better quality of life, and so on. Because ultimately, if you have a third party that is certifying your city or your community, it makes sure and it reassures the citizens and the stakeholders that you're doing a great job, so everyone would want to invest or would want to live in your place. Now, this is a pilot that we've been running lately, and we are now looking at the sustainability, of course, as I said to you, and this is up to every city to adopt that. And 37106 still remain our core standard, but we have also tried to look at some infrastructure standards that are out there, international ones like 37151 and 152, that are looking at how to deploy an infrastructure in a city or a community, and how to make sure that that smart infrastructure is working at all levels. This is still at a pilot phase, but we really want more clients in this area, so please do feel free to reach out to my colleagues in South Korea if you want to know more. And just to let you understand more about the kite mark and how to demonstrate compliance, as I said before, we have a maturity model, and we will score a city from a level to 1 to 5. From level to 1 to 2, the city would still be in development in terms of smartness, so we won't award a certification. But if you reach level 3, 4, or 5, we will award a kite mark certification. Now, looking at how the process goes, first of all, I suggest you all to purchase the standards, and bearing in mind the slides I've put on the screen before, probably the good thing to do is to look at the standards that are out there and make sure you buy and you purchase the right one considering your task. So the first thing is to buy the standard, and I suggest everyone to buy 37101 or 37106 because it really helps deploy a management system for a sustainable or a smart community. Second, please feel free to get in touch. We're happy to provide you with a gap analysis and against the kite mark, and we will check the requirements of the certification. Then, if you are successful, we can offer you a stage 2 assessment, which is the main assessment and the core assessment for BSI to check whether or not you'll be complying with the standard and our maturity model or not. And I'm fairly sure most of the cities in South Korea are actually probably on top of that. So after the stage 2, if everything is successful, we will issue the certificate, and we're very happy to provide any smart initiatives in your city and in your country. And ultimately, we're very happy to celebrate your success. Now, probably every one of you knows that we've signed an MOU with LH. We firstly issued the certificate, our first smart city kite mark to SEJONG City. Then after that, LH saw some good initiatives coming from us, and we've actually issued the certificate to many more cities in South Korea. So please feel free to reach out to us or LH, and we're happy to provide you more information about the BSI Smart City Kite Mark. Hope this helped, and please stay safe, and see you very soon in South Korea. Bye.
Thank you very much. Mr. Emilia Cardone, she made a presentation on the global standards. Now, the last program of the G session panel discussion regarding the ways for international standardization of the Sejong Smart City. We are going to have a discussion time with the speakers who made the presentations earlier. Chang Min-ju, the director of the Smart City Department of Sejong City, she is going to moderate the discussion. Hello, everyone. I'm Chang Min-ju from Sejong City. We have Mr. Kim Man-sik from the National Institute of Standards of Technology, and Mr. Jo Young-tae from LH, and we have Mr. Chung Sung-hyun, senior researcher of BSI. First of all, this question goes to Mr. Chung. You are working at BSI, right, as a senior researcher, and you have visited various cities, including Sejong. And as I know, but you have assessed the majority of those smart cities. So what would be the vision of a global city, and what would be the value? Regarding the smart city vision of BSI, let me explain this. Regarding the vision first, it is very clear. For sustainable development of a city, the city should enhance its capacity. That would be the direction of BSI's standardization. And based on the capacity of the city will be able to realize its vision or deal with the challenges facing the city. The BSI for the past 100 years has produced different types of standards, and annually it generates about 2,500 global standards. So far, we have standards. We have produced standards for mainly the companies for their security and for their safety. However, starting from about 5 years ago, we have been focused on the cities because the city is very critical for our life, and the cities have many dangerous factors there. And what is the most urgent in terms of standardization is now we are still experiencing the difficulties caused by COVID-19. Then what about the resilience of the cities? How we can enhance the resilience of the cities? Now we are focusing on this topic. So BS we have BS 67,000 standard, and last year to secure a safe workplace during the COVID-19, we focused on the standard process, and of course, we generated the required standards. So this way, you should be able to build a city which is safer for its citizens. Thank you.
So our Sejong City also get the certification from we also get the audit from the BSI. So I understand this international certification status internationally. What about the domestic situation? Maybe Mr. Kim Han-si can deal with it.
First, I think we should see the global status first. Globally, the standardization of smart city, ISO, ICU, and one or more international organization for the international standardization and AI, smart health mobility. These are the smart city services to develop these services. Each international organization and is working on that together with other relevant agencies. Reference architecture and the common technology and operation of smart cities. For this, we need kind of massive standard and a macro standard. However, regarding this macro standard, they need to divide the specific roles of each different agent. And this, I think the same goes for here in Korea as well. The vertical standardization has been done by the relevant industry and relevant organization. However, in terms of the macro standards, it is not an easy part that the private sectors can make an approach. This is still early stage in Korea. We are now developing these kind of standards.
So I understand that the micro perspective, the standardization has been discussed so far, but in terms of the macro perspective, we need to also talk about the international standardization about smart city. And LH is the one which is leading the smart city development. So I believe that the exporting smart city is just around the corner. And in that sense, let me ask a question about how we can present the smart city meaning for those Indonesia, such as relocating the capital city. So as you said, that LH is the one leading the smart city in terms of development, and also the intelligent service facilities and communication network and operation facilities are the ones that we build and operate. Based on these experiences, we can export smart city model in the cooperation as well. And the Korean smart city has a certain characteristics. We are doing the integratedly and also integrally build all those the smart city, the infrastructure, and also this has been very visible in terms of implemented services. So we can provide this model to other countries. In particular, Indonesia. I think Indonesia needs to benchmark the examples of Korea. So Indonesia is now trying to relocate its capital city from Jakarta to other region. Maybe for that city, I believe that Sejong will be a prime example. Since 2006, we've been working on this relocation of smart city for 15 years. So we have been building this kind of exemplary model for not just for Korea, but also for countries around the world. And some of the experiences that the advanced countries have never experienced can be found in Sejong City. So the Indonesia choose Korea in that case. They will enjoy better the examples and then benefits. And the national pilot city that we proceeded with is the new challenges and the tasks for at the national level. So here in this Sejong City, the national level, the smart city, it can be verified, and then later this the entire the demonstration can be exported, or I'm sorry, spread to other cities in Korea. I believe this can be also exported to Indonesia, and the location of the capital city, which has a the good benchmarking of this smart city, will be very effective for the country like Indonesia. Yes. So Sejong City could be a successful example of the relocation of the administrative capital, and also it is a leading example in terms of standardization in smart city. So National Pilot City project started with the site selection last year, and we are seeking the SPC, which will lead the project. So what will be the kind of the policy example for that?
I think this is a very difficult question. From my perspective, standards for to make a successfully build a smart city, interoperability, scalability, and top-down approach. These are important. We should apply this, spread this in our applications to the smart cities, because basically, when it comes to the smart city, we need to provide the solutions to meet the needs of citizens. And by utilizing these different approaches, I think that we will be able to eliminate the barriers, technology barriers in the future, and to create the values by end users, and they will be able to be actively participating. So sustainable ecosystem, I mean, should be created by private sectors by making all the stakeholders actively participate in the process. We will be able to make produce models, and we should be able to figure out difficulties and or any redundancy, and even the technical requirements for future integration. Thank you very much. So to build a national pilot city, he mentioned that we should reflect and consider those suggestions for standardization of smart city. Mr. Chung, Sejong City.
So the Sejong City acquired the world's first smart city international certification from the ISO 37106, and hosted by, and also it was hosted by the British Standard Association. So I remember what that happened in during that process. It was really difficult. So thinking that, do you have any advice or strategies for Sejong City to move to the next level 5? So Sejong City certified level 3 in 2018, and last year it was upgraded to level 4. So I understand that the manager Zhang also made the most effort in that certification requirement, but acquiring that certification is just halfway. You need to also maintain your excellence as well. So not just the technological element, but also the administrative elements. I see that there are certain advances in terms of the management of this the technologies. Anyhow, I could see that there is a smart city division available in the Sejong City government, and also there is an internal governance has been well established under the ordinance of the city, and also smart city integrated control system has been in place. So smart city related projects can be monitored through this kind of governance. I think that's a big step in terms of progress. So smart city division started to take a bigger role in terms of control tower of smart city projects. It's been just more than 6 months since I monitor what is happening in the Sejong City. So under the control tower at Sejong City, all the projects of the smart city should be managed. And all these projects will be involved in the 7 major smart city tasks: mobility, energy, environment, shopping, culture. All these related the projects should be managed under the control tower, I believe. Further, I see certain common weak point from the cities that I audited. So in the mid and long-term project, smart city projects should be established. So in terms of mid and long-term perspective and planning, the citizen benefiting quantitative target index should be established. So our citizens, should have certain benefits from the smart city. So in order to know that, we need to have a kind of quantitative index and figures as a target should be set. And secondly, in terms of the smart city project, I need to talk about this because what about the criteria or the criteria whether you decide this smart project is successful or not in terms of a citizen benefits perspective. Due to this, I believe that Sejong City received a lower score. So if you fulfill all of these areas, the Sejong City can be upgraded to the level 5. One more thing I'd like to add is that the private leading smart city, that's the target you need to have. And for that, we have SBC and also private companies, and also Sejong City will be working together. So we need to have an optimized governance model in which the private sector and public sector work together. That kind of balance should be achieved for the level 5 Sejong City.
Regarding the BS certifications, there are many cities who they are interested in. I think your advice will be very helpful in that regard. Thank you very much for your comment. The German philosopher Goethe said that humans are traveling for travel, not to reach to some destination. It is not just about building a smart city. This is a long journey. This will be a long journey to make the lives of citizens happier using IT or advanced technologies. So that's why we need to consider standardization. That is why today's discussion is very meaningful. Based on what we are discussing today, we'll be able to make further progress. Thank you very much for your great comments and opinions. Now we are going to wrap up the session G of 2021 Sejong Smart City. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your views and opinions. This wraps up session G of the 2021 Sejong Smart City. Starting from 3 p.m., we are going to have a closing ceremony. Please stay with us until the end of this event. So this concludes the session G. Thank you very much.